Hi, this is Alex from ftp.com, and today we are at Ubisoft Digital Days 2013, and I am speaking with Thomas Painçon. He is the F2P guru of Ubisoft, but I will let him introduce his official title and tell us a little bit about what you do.
Okay, hello everyone, I'm Thomas Painçon. I'm the marketing director for EMEA for all digital publishing, so meaning free-to-play, but not only, also XBLA and PSN titles, so basically everything that has no box.
Fantastic. When it comes to the F2P genre, obviously Ubisoft do a lot of different games. How do you decide what's going to be a free-to-play? What's the kind of process for that?
So right now we are in the process of test and learn. I mean, we are learning a lot. So we are deciding with specific IPs what we want to test, where we want to test that. So of course we begin with Blue Byte, with Settlers and Anno, which was very Germany-centric IPs. And then we decide to launch other IP, the free-to-play business model. So that's why Montreal launched Mighty Quest, also to expand on the new genre and on the client asynchronous free-to-play games. And the last one we launched also to learn was Duel of Champions, Might and Magic, where you had this cross-platform feature that we were also wanted to test. And Ghost Recon Online also was launched on that to test synchronous with multiplayer, with matchmaking. So every time we are launching free-to-play games, we want to test something that we can apply afterwards to all the different projects and maybe more AAA IPs. So every time we are launching a new game, it's on purpose. It's to learn something. Sometimes we fail, sometimes we success, but every time we have this in mind is test and learn and try to learn something from all the different free-to-play games we are launching.
Yeah, you said then that sometimes you fail, sometimes you succeed. Which titles in particular do you think have not quite been the success that you wanted them to be, maybe?
I mean, when I mean fail, it's more on the we discover lately that it's more difficult than we thought. I mean, we discovered that, for example, localization, payment method, this kind of issue are taking much more time than we thought. And the second thing is the bandwidth of the studio to, at the same time, localize in new language, deploy new language, but also work on the additional content of the live version. So when I mean fail, it's not fail. It's just we are being delayed. We wanted to go further than that. If you take Horse, for example, for Orient, in 3 years they launch in 30 language. Right now, if you take Settlers, it's in 12. Mighty Quest, it's in 2. So we would like to go faster than that, but we discovered that it's much more difficult than we thought, because you have other issues than only development that are related to live operation, community management, payment method that maybe we didn't anticipate at the beginning.
I mean, you kind of mentioned Settlers there. Obviously, you've got the normal franchise with I think Settlers 5 was the last one that you brought out. How does the kind of community and kind of player-based numbers compare from Settlers 5 to having kind of Settlers Online? You know, does it not kind of cut the legs out of each other?
It's much more.
Which one? Settlers 5?
No, Settlers Online. Yeah. I mean, Settlers is an interesting topic because we were releasing it on retail. So first you take all the country that where the retail is not so developed or people don't have the buying power to buy them. I mean, you can erase them from, even if they want to pay, they cannot buy it, or they can wait. So, and this is a large part of the world, I can assure you. And then you have this, on the free-to-play, you have this long-term engagement and new content that is coming every month. So people are not playing at a fixed game, you know, they wait for the next content and they wait for the animation, like Christmas, like Halloween. I mean, it's much more lively game. So we attract new players that maybe want more short session on that game, stop playing for 1 year and come back again, and the game has completely changed. It's new things inside like that. So to give you example, in 3 years, 2.5 years with Tetris, we had twice much more players than all the settlers for 10 years. So I mean, and if you take countries like Russia or like Latin America or even Asia, I mean, we quite never launched any settlers retail over there. So I mean, even the license is not.
And the Russians and Chinese, they love their free-to-play.
Exactly. So I mean, it's really an opportunity also for us to broaden our IP.
Yeah.
So they know also Ubisoft, and they know what we are doing. So yeah, it's really an opportunity, and especially for setters, which is a browser games. So I mean, you don't have this issue with your graphic cards, with your that you can have with the retail PC game. So I mean, it's just very good for us because you just need a browser, an internet browser, and it works everywhere in the world. So I mean, this is just an opportunity for us.
So is it Blue Byte that handle all the free-to-play games then?
So right now, free-to-play is developed everywhere. So they were the pioneer within Ubisoft with Settlers, with Anno. They have Painçon General today. But we have also Quebec, who is developing Duel of Champions. We have Montreal with Mighty Quest, Singapore with Ghost Recon Online, and you will have more within the coming months. So right now, the free-to-play is really expanding everywhere. Even Red Links, that is developing Trials Frontier on tablet, will be a free-to-play game.
Okay.
So it's tablet, but it's also free-to-play. So business model, I mean, free-to-play right now within Ubisoft is not only attractive to PC. Right now it's more a business model that can go everywhere. We launch on console, Spartacus. So let's say everybody right now will be used to do free-to-play games. But yeah, we have like 10 big studios that are handling a big project. But again, it's a lot of sharing. What Blue Byte has learned in terms of do's and don'ts, share it to the others.
The entire company.
Exactly. And we save a lot of time for the other project. The same for Duel of Champions. You know, having cross-platform on the paper, it's really easy. But when you are on the development side, you have to have the same content at the same time on both platforms. And on PC, you manage everything. But on tablet, you have Apple that have to validate the content and everything. So you know, it's also managing the schedule to have the same shape of both. I let you imagine what is the nightmare in terms of planification and things like that. And this, before testing it live, you cannot anticipate this kind of issue or this kind of problem. So what they are now learning, they are sharing it to the other, say, okay, maybe don't do in the way we did because it's too painful for us, or so yeah.
So I mean, you're kind of saying you're learning new things, and I suppose you can as far as the F2P goes, I'd say Ubisoft, you've now kind of got a lot of things that are coming out kind of all at the same time, but you are kind of a little bit later to the game in comparison to a lot of other companies. I think F2P's been around for quite a while. So I mean, obviously you can kind of fall back on saying, well, they failed because of this, they were successful because of that, and I think sometimes it is guesswork anyway, why something's successful. But
there's not a magic recipe.
No,
or everybody will do the same.
You can't just duplicate League of Legends and World of Warcraft all the time.
Exactly.
And why do you think Ubisoft kind of took so long kind of embracing free-to-play like they now seem to be doing?
So as you know, the development is all internal. So the first thing, I mean, you cannot decide like that, okay, I want to go free-to-play or digital. It has to be also a wish and a change within all the structure of Ubisoft, especially on the production side. You know, you don't have the same mindset or the same vision when you ship a game at a standard game and then you jump to another product. On a free-to-play, where the launch is just the beginning, and you have to think about, okay, I have to develop in advance what I will launch after. I have to always iterate on that. I have always to also take the community feedback, because on a let's say a standard game, I mean, you launch the game, but even if people are not complaining, you cannot change anything. I mean, it's just maybe on the next DLC, but the core game is set, and and that's it. On the free-to-play, you have the opportunity to maybe switch or develop new content if people like more co-op or PvP, or they like more this kind of feature. So you can really be more agile. But this has also has an impact on the production side. So before and maybe today you have the result of a strategy that was decided 3 years ago to change also the process internally, to have also the team that can handle that. So it's not a decision from one time to another. We had also, for the designer, our integrated monetization manager, which was quite new. So we had to recruit these people to integrate it so that they can talk to also the design people, understanding, because making free-to-play is really a collaboration between business and production guy. I mean, you cannot separate between each other, and this cannot be done like that. You cannot just take a premium game and turn it to free-to-play. Sometimes it works, but most of the time it fails. So you have to anticipate it since the beginning and say, okay, I want to do this kind of game with this kind of business model. So it takes time, and maybe this is why we were 3 years ago a little bit late, but now the good thing is that everything we learn on free-to-play, we can apply it to all the platforms. So on PC we can go very fast on console, which maybe we are not so late compared to others, and also on mobile. So we were late once, and we are gaining more expertise on this one to maybe be faster on the other platform.
Well, we'll get to the console stuff shortly. A couple of things you said there that I want to touch on. One of them was the player feedback. Now, obviously, great to have. It's great when companies actually do listen to the players, even as much as they might whine, saying that you never listen to the players. How do you kind of prioritize between the kind of feedback from the people that are paying and saying, oh, we love this, this is why we play and we pay, in comparison to the people that aren't paying and their feedback saying, well, this is why we don't play? Do you not get a conflict, and kind of like, where do you go with it?
I mean for us, we take the community as a whole. We don't split from payers to non-payers, meaning that, concrete example, our community manager don't know which one are the payers or the non-payers. So they take all the feedback. It's more the engagement of the people within the community, to organize competition, to be. This is more how we want to treat the community, and people that have I can say that even if you pay, but if you have a toxic behavior, within the community or something like that, we will never promote this kind of people, because this kind of behavior can ruin your community. So we, rather than only taking the negative side, we are promoting people within the community that have a positive impact, regardless if they are paying or not. Because in free-to-play, you have also to be aware that even people that are not paying are as important as the others. Because but because if you take and you see today, our main free-to-play games are competitive, multiplayer, that. You need people to fight against, or if you're alone, even
you need a larger community, whether they're paying or not.
Exactly. Even if you pay, and maybe these people also can influence other. They can. It's just a basic rule on free-to-play. You have to be in your mind that most of your community will be free. But that's. I know for some business people it's really difficult to understand. But when you are going like that, it's just a basic rule. You cannot go against that.
Do you not think it's an issue that, sometimes it doesn't matter how good the game is, some players just aren't going to pay for anything? I fall very much into that bracket. I play F2P games, the likes of PlanetSide 2, but I don't pay for it. I'm happy to kind of go there. Are you guys kind of looking, how can we get these people? What do we do? How do we make them pay for stuff? Or are you kind of focusing more on...
that there's so our first rule is no pay to win. So we don't want to. People that pay have an advantage. They have an advantage in terms of time to get and to loot certain weapons or things like that, or XP boost. It's thing is that there's a basic rule: the longer people stay in the game, the more chance they will pay.
Yeah.
So our main objective is to have people entertaining the longer we can with the community event, with the content, with the quality of the game, with the competition, and then naturally, this is not my rule. It's just a psychological rule, and it proves to be real.
Yeah.
The more they will stay, the more they will say, okay. If you look at Candy Crush or this kind of game, people don't pay till level 120, and when they spend 2 or 3 months, they say, okay,
yeah.
now I can maybe pay €5 because it's worth the time. No, but this is just so for us it's more okay. How do we engage people in the long term? Because this is just the basic rule, and then you have people all around the world that don't have the same buying power, so you cannot ask the same people to buy and invest the same.
Yeah. As far as your business model goes, you kind of touched on it a little bit. Are you kind of having a similar business model throughout all your F2P games, that it is more free-to-play, microtransaction based, but it's items that presumably you can either buy or get in-game with time? Is that the kind of across all the...
Yeah, across all, yeah. This is a basic rule that we adopted throughout all our games. So you can only buy times,
right.
Okay? And you can acquire either by paying longer or by paying the same kind of advantage or weapons. So meaning that there's no items that you can only buy with real money or natural money, but you can acquire them also by playing in the game throughout the different times. This is really important for us because we know that it can really destroy the game. Also, if you change.
The other thing is it depends whether the items that you can get are kind of locked by other means as well. I mean, you kind of have the problem where hardcore gamers that can grind for an item, they can grind for it, but they are also probably as likely to just buy the item anyway because they just want the item as quick as they can. So does it not kind of negatively impact the more casual players even more?
I don't think so because we have different type of level, and so we want really to be fair. And so, even if you take Duel Champions, you have different levels. Even if you are a newbie and you came with a little tech, you will never be able to compete with the higher one that maybe either have money or have longer time within the game. So it's also something that I have to take into account into free-to-play, is to have a good balance between the new entries and the veterans one. Which you have advantages, but the goal is to having a really good curve of progression. So you don't. The new one that are coming, if they are crushed directly, they say okay. So if I don't pay, I'm just out of the game. So this is really, and you can see it on Ghost Recon Online where there are different tiers. You have the Halo system on Duel of Champions. So yeah, you have this kind of Mighty Quest also. You have different levels, so you cannot attack a castle that is above your level.
Okay.
So yeah, so we want really for people that have the same level, then we aggregate a lot of data to have this notion of level. But because either you can just be crushed by the veterans one. Say okay, I don't want to pay. And it's the other way. If you pay, and if you don't have the level or the skill, it doesn't mean that you will compete with the others.
Thomas, thank you very much for your time, sir.
You're welcome.